This has to be one of, if not the, best looking keyboard that's currently on the market. Not only has it been designed to look great, it has all the attributes you'd expect from a modern mechanical keyboard, as well as some truly world-first features that promise to give this keyboard the most premium typing experience you can currently have with a low-profile mechanical keyboard. But does it live up to these claims? This is the Lofree Flow. You see, about a year ago I got into the world of mechanical keyboards. I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination. My first one was a Keychron K8 that I made a review video about on this channel right here. Then I got a Lofree 75. They're both perfectly fine keyboards that I enjoyed using, but there was just something about them that was missing. What I wanted was a slim, low-profile keyboard that had a more sophisticated design language to it, something that looked a little more grown up, something that would fit in better with the other desk products that I already have. That's why when I saw the Lofree Flow, I reached out and convinced Lofree to send me out one for review. And just so you know, they didn't pay me to make this video, and I'm totally free to say whatever I want. What they did give me is a 10% discount code for you good people. You can find that and the link to the product in the description, and don't worry, it's not an affiliate link. I get absolutely nothing from you using it. Let's just spend a minute appreciating how good this thing looks. From a pure product design point of view, there's not much I don't like about this keyboard. It actually comes in both a white and black design, but for me the black was the standout option.
Always bet on black.
I like the subtle, slightly undersized sans serif font used on the keys. Looks like open sans to me, but I can't be sure. I like the burnt orange accent colours used for the media keys. Orange and black always go well together and give a premium look. I really like the contrast between the smooth aluminium and the slightly matte textured keycaps, and the way the Lofree logo is embossed on a separate brass coloured piece of aluminium is a nice understated touch in my book. I'm a fan of low profile keyboards in general. Lofree say this keyboard has a thickness of 10mm, but if you measure it including the feet, which aren't removable, and the keycaps, it's more like 25mm thick, or 1 inch if you're an American. One thing I wasn't sure about at first was the little screws around the edge of the body. I wondered if a seamless look would have been more in fitting with the rest of the keyboard design, but I have to say that after a bit of time I'm starting to think this was the right decision to leave them on. Something I've heard others complain about is that the Windows and Mac keys have both sets of text on them, rather than the keyboard being supplied with extra keycaps that you can swap out. This is obviously a subjective opinion because me personally, I'm not bothered with how it's been done at all. I have to say that when I took the Lofree Flow out of the box for the first time and I had a little test type on it, I got a funny feeling. Oh yeah, this thing is good. It was such a big upgrade in feel to what I had been used to using. It's hard to put it into words, but it feels like a giant leap in quality and performance, as well as everything feeling more taut and pulled together. I hadn't expected it to feel like such a jump, but then I didn't know what I was missing out on. I had nothing to compare it to. I thought I did, but I really didn't. A lot of this is probably down to the Kale switches used. The black version I have comes with the Phantom tactile switches, and the white with the Ghost linear switches. They're the equivalent of the more traditional brown and red switches, and along with the Wizard switch, which is clicky, make up the Shadow series of switches. I probably would have called it Spectre rather than Wizard to keep with the whole ghostly theme, but they didn't consult me. Anyway, it's a joint venture between Lofree and Kale to make the world's first full POM material low-profile switch. I had no idea what POM material was, but it turns out it's short for polyoxymethylene, which is just a fancy plastic. That's a bit like nylon, but the important thing is that in the world of mechanical keyboards, it's considered self-lubricating, which means the keys get smoother and smoother the more you type on them. The other part of why this keyboard feels so good is probably down to the gasket mount. This has been used in other keyboards before, but it's the first time being used in a low-profile design. The gasket sort of suspends the typing part of the keyboard from the case and gives a better typing experience. Lofree explain it like this: enhanced cushioning and even pressure distribution that the gasket mount brings helps you enjoy a truly sleek, precise, and incredibly comfortable typing experience. So how does this keyboard sound? Is it clacky or focky? I wouldn't say I know enough about keyboards to be able to tell you, so I'll just let you decide with a sound test. I will say that the keys feel incredibly stable compared to any other keyboard that I've used. There's no give or flex in them when typing. Here's the full typing sound, and don't laugh, I'm not someone who can type at 120 words a minute, and even if I was, it wouldn't be much help because I can't think at 120 words a minute. So is it clacky or focky? Let me know down in the comments. I think it falls somewhere between the two, maybe. Lofree have included a number of components like silicone pads and IPXE foam to give the keyboard the best sound possible, although I guess whether you like it is in the eyes or ears of the beholder. Like nearly all new mechanical keyboards on the market, this one comes with backlighting effects. It's some sort of unwritten rule apparently. Mechanical keyboards just must have this feature. It's probably got something to do with some obscure European Union regulation or something. Anyway, it has them, so let's talk about them by first talking about something else. The keycaps are made of PBT using advanced 5-sided dye sublimation, whatever that is. Apparently it allows for more detailed patterns to be printed on the keycaps. I'm not sure how much of a difference this makes. It might be absolutely huge, I really don't know. What I did notice is that all the letters and numbers line up neatly and nicely, which isn't always the case on other keyboards that use PBT keycaps. Sometimes the letters seem to just float off in strange directions. However, because they are made from PBT, they aren't shine through, so you only get the backlighting effect around the edges of each keycap instead of the letters and symbols lighting up. To me, this makes the keys harder to see, not easier. In fact, it's worse than that. The LEDs do actually shine through the keycaps in what I can only imagine is an unintended way, which gives this strange, unpleasant look. To be honest, all the lighting effects are a bit underwhelming on this keyboard. The front light for the battery status is fine, but the underside RGB lights might as well not be there. Holding the function key, you can use the right arrow key to cycle through a number of different colours, but unless you're in the darkest of rooms, you're gonna need to turn your head on the side to see if they're changing. They're just too hidden away to see from the typing position. This isn't a problem for me, I'd rather they just got rid of them altogether and made the keyboard a bit cheaper. At least they kept them kinda subtle. I'm not a big fan of having a Pink Floyd concert going off in my face when I'm trying to work anyway. Setting up wireless is super easy. Switch to Bluetooth mode, hold the function key and either 1, 2 or 3 down for a few seconds, find the Flow 84 at Lofree name on your computer's list of available connections and hit connect. You can connect up to 3 different devices to the keyboard. The keyboard also has a 2000 mAh battery that Lofree claim can last for 40 hours of non-stop work. So far in the few weeks that I've had the keyboard, I've only had to charge it 3 times. The packaging is all pretty minimalist. It has this black outer sleeve with most of the information about the keyboard on. The white box has a nice Lofree logo and a diagram of the keyboard embossed on it, but there's not much else. The box is held closed with magnets and opens and closes with a snap. Inside there's really not much to look at. You've got the keyboard, a warranty card, some user instructions and a USB-C to A cable for charging the battery. That's it. So although both the keycaps and the switches are hot swappable, you don't get a switch puller or even any spare keys. Unfortunately, the cable doesn't match the quality of the keyboard in my opinion. I think a keyboard of this type deserves a nice braided cable. The strangest thing about it is the right angle USB-C end. On one side, it has the Lofree logo on it. I'd assume that made it the top side, but if you use it this way round, it covers the on-off switch. If you assume that the logo goes on the bottom, then the cable sticks out to the right-hand side far too much. And about that USB-C port, if you have a nice fancy braided cable and you're planning on using it with this keyboard, you might want to double check that it actually fits first. That's because the port is actually recessed compared to the edge of the keyboard. I tried a fatter cable and it didn't fit properly. You could say this keyboard is a case of style over substance, but in the very best way possible. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, it isn't loaded with gimmicks, but what it does do is it sets out to be a modern, good-looking, premium-feeling keyboard with a great typing experience, and it does that very, very well. And the areas where it falls a little short, like the RGB lighting, well, they were never that important to it to begin with, in my opinion. Don't forget that discount, 10% off, use the link below. See you in the next video. Whenever that will be.